Hello, everyone. I'm Kimberly. I'm a knitter and an artist, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I plan knitting projects. So, the first thing I do is I think about, I do one of two things. I think about what I want to make, or I will browse one of the books that I have and just choose something from there, whatever catches my eye. And then next, I think about how much time I want to spend on the project. Like, is this, a very slow project? Is this something I want to be able to easily take on the go? Or is it going to be like something larger? I think about all those things. And the next thing I do is I look at, I check the materials that they suggest. Most knitting patterns, and this also applies to crochet, most of them, uh, they list a specific yarn to use. I always treat that as a suggestion. The most important information is the yarn weight, um, and the also like the yardage, like how much yarn did they use in that project. So, and also I think the best patterns give that information because every yarn is not accessible to every person, you know? Uh, yeah, and then I'll find like I'll look it up online or in store shopping and see what yarns are available to me and try to match the yarn weight. And then also, you have to know what needles are they suggesting. That's usually a starting point. You have to, I'm talking about me. So, what I do a gauge swatch to see if the yarn that I have is going to give the same gauge uh, as their suggested yarn. Because engage is, you need to do that, especially for garments that you're going to wear. Um, like some things, gauge doesn't matter, but for like something that is going to be fitting the person, you or whoever you're making an item for, you have to do the gauge. Uh, yeah, so next I'll go to the store and get those materials, or I'll order it online. So I don't have access to a lot of yarn stores. I know of a few, and none of them are really close to me. So I like to browse in person, but sometimes they don't have the color that you're thinking of, and you just got to order it online. Uh, so yeah, and that's basically my process, and then I will cast on. Also, what I want to make a note about is knitting needles. So I don't have every single size of knitting needle, um, or type of knitting needle, rather. I do have a lot of the straight needles, which are just the ones that, like the typical knitting needle. But some projects require circular knitting needles, or DPNs, that stands for double pointed needles. And sometimes I will adjust my project based on the needles that I have. Um, if if it's a project that can be adjusted in that way. But if you really want to make the project as how it is in that pattern, then you just have to get the needles. You just have to get the appropriate needles. That's actually one of the things that, I mean, I love knitting, but I love crochet is just like, I mean, I don't know if there's any special crocheting things, but all the crochet that I have made and come across, it just requires the simple general crochet hook. But with knitting, there's a lot more tools, and sometimes you don't have them all. But yeah, that's basically how I plan my knitting projects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.